Hi, I'm Chad Carroll. I'm one of the information officers here at the Soberanes Fire, and hoping to give you a little update of what we're doing today. As many of you know, this fire's been burning for a while. We have our containment lines that wrap around the north, and there's not too much fire activity on those areas. But when you get down here towards the Cold Springs area, there is the red lines here where we go from just south of the Big Sur area. As you come down to Cold Springs, that area here still has fire bumping up against our containment lines. We still have crews actively on those lines doing backfiring as the weather allows for it. We also have some fire growth as it comes into more of the national wilderness area of the Los Padres National Forest. These areas are still completing the burnouts in these areas where their fire's growing together. Same thing in this area near Double Cone. It's continuing to grow towards this English cabin, and some of the preventative measures we put around that is wrapping it with an aluminum foil type blanket. And that blanket's very much like the fire shelters the firefighters use, where we're trying to repel most of the heat and reflect it back with the aluminum outside of the blanket. And then the blanket itself is protecting it from some of that heat that does get through. So that's happening around the English cabin. There's some other properties that are a little bit farther back in here called Church Ranch, where there's some properties there that are being containment around the structures are being widened, trying to do any of the preventative measures that we can there. As we get up towards the Blue Rock area, that area still has the containment lines, the dozer lines along the ridges there, and around the dam. The fire's still burning in that area, still progressing towards the southeast. As we come to a little bit larger map here, it shows you some of the additional roads and structures here. Again, there's also some housing in these private property areas that are within that wilderness area. Those homeowners are obviously very concerned with their properties there and doing everything they can to add to the prevention of the fires coming in and damaging their homes. There's also the road that goes down to Tasajara. They're widening those areas to lessen the damage as much as possible, as well as around the Tasajara Zen Center and all the structures that are part of that. As that fire is growing and progressing, it's coming in between our containment lines. Those containment lines are largely bulldozer or hand crew lines that have come through around both sides of the structure. And then these areas farthest to the southeast portion of the fire is where they're still building containment lines and working on having a really good solid stop. It's also an area where they've had fires in the past that they've been able to contain the fires. And they're using many of those same lines and just updating them and clearing the brush off of them. So it is likely that that fire will continue to burn within those containment lines. And people are commonly asking, why is it still only 60% contained? And the reason for that is as that fire grows and comes through here, it's only adding little bits of containment here on the side. But as the fire continues to grow, when it hits the end, it'll all wrap up quickly at the very end.